Hey everyone, and welcome back. Ready to get inside people's heads a little bit.
Always up for a good deep dive.
This time, we're tackling Think Like a Psychologist. This book basically wants to give us, all these psychology hacks, but for, everyday stuff.
It's about using those insights to navigate your own life a little better, build stronger relationships.
Exactly. So not about diagnosing your grumpy neighbor, but more like figuring out what makes them tick.
Right. The book actually uses this great example. Instead of just assuming someone is difficult, try to see if their behavior is because of, well, something else going on.
Oh, like if they are just, I don't know, totally swamped at work, like their inbox is exploding and deadlines are like yesterday.
That's the idea. Deadlines, a fight with their partner, who knows? It's about recognizing that everyone's got their own stuff going on.
It's like everyone's walking around with their own, invisible backpack full of experiences.
Exactly. And those experiences shape how they see the world.
Which reminds me, speaking of different perspectives, the book digs into this whole thing about personality types.
Oh, yeah. The big 5 personality traits. That's a classic.
Total classic, right. And I'm not going to, list them all out.
No need for a psych lecture.
But one that really, struck me was neuroticism. Those folks who, maybe stress a bit easier or overthink things a tad.
The warriors of the world.
Right. So if, say, you're working with someone high in neuroticism, just knowing that can totally change how you approach things.
Absolutely. Like, instead of springing big changes on them last minute, maybe give them a heads up, make sure things are super clear, help them feel more at ease.
It's almost like you're speaking their language, but in a way they understand even better,
Right. You're adapting to their style.
And speaking of languages, get this, the book talks about this whole other level of communication. Body language.
Oh, it's a gold mine of information if you know what to look for.
Right. Like, ever have someone tell you they're fine, but their whole body is screaming like, nope, definitely not fine.
We've all been there. Those telltale signs, maybe they cross their arms, avoid eye contact, or fidget like crazy.
It makes you realize we're all kind of broadcasting our real feelings, even if we don't say a word.
Exactly. And being aware of those nonverbal cues, both in others and in ourselves, can be hugely helpful.
It's like having a superpower, being able to read between the lines.
It can really strengthen your relationships, too.
So we've got this whole decoding people thing going on, right? And then the book adds in this whole other layer, trust.
Trust. Oh, that's fundamental to any strong relationship.
Right. And the book gives this example. It talks about a manager admitting a mistake to their team.
Which can be, let's be honest, a little scary for people in leadership roles.
Oh, totally. It goes against, years of never show weakness, That being vulnerable actually builds more trust.
Because it shows you're, well, human.
Yeah.
Just like everyone else.
Right. Not some robot who got it all figured out.
Exactly. And that makes people feel like they can, let their guard down a bit, too.
Be themselves, flaws and all. Okay, so we've got understanding motivations and body language, and then this whole trust thing. But then, inevitably, there's always, conflict. Why can't everyone just get along?
Wouldn't that be nice? But seriously, the book actually frames conflict as a growth opportunity.
Growth opportunity. That's one way to put it. Usually it just feels like a headache waiting to happen.
I get it. But Think Like a Psychologist really stresses understanding the other person's perspective.
Oh, easier said than done when you're in the heat of the moment.
For sure. And that's where emotional intelligence comes in. Not just managing your own emotions.
But actually recognizing what the other person might be feeling too.
Sometimes what seems like a personal attack is actually coming from, well, somewhere else entirely.
Maybe they're stressed about something completely unrelated.
Totally. It could be insecurity or fear or even something from their past that has zero to do with you.
Wow. Okay, so now I feel like I should be giving everyone the benefit of the doubt all the time.
It's about shifting your perspective a bit. You're not letting them off the hook, but you're trying to see the bigger picture.
And that can be so hard when you're already feeling defensive.
No doubt. But the more you can practice that empathy, the easier it gets.
So less about winning the argument and more about, finding common ground.
Now you're getting it. And, that whole idea ties into another big theme from the book, influence.
Influence. Okay, I'll admit, I was a little wary of this chapter. Am I going to be learning Jedi mind tricks now?
Right. It does sound a little manipulative, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But the book is all about using psychology ethically.
Okay, because The last thing I need is to be, like, accidentally hypnotizing people.
No worries, no hypnosis here. It's really about understanding what motivates people
Mm.
and, well, framing things in a way that resonates with them.
So not manipulation, but more like effective communication.
Exactly. Like, let's say you're trying to get your team to, I don't know, adopt a new system. Instead of being all, this is better, do it my way, you could highlight how it'll make their lives easier.
Appeal to their self-interest a bit.
Exactly. It's about finding those win-win situations.
Mhm.
When people feel understood, they're way more likely to get on board.
Makes sense. So we've covered so much ground motivations, personality types, body language, trust, conflict, even influence. It's a lot to digest.
It is a lot, but it all circles back to, well, the most important application of psychology, personal growth.
And this book, Think Like a Psychologist, it doesn't just like stop at understanding other people, right? It goes deeper.
Oh, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
like once you have all these tools, the most important thing is to, well, use them on yourself.
Yeah, like that whole know thyself idea.
Exactly. Self-awareness is like the foundation of personal growth.
And the book actually gives like some concrete ways to, get better at that self-awareness thing.
Oh, totally. Like mindfulness is a big one. Just taking a minute to, pay attention to your thoughts and feelings.
Without like immediately judging yourself.
Right. Just observe, see what comes up.
It's almost like, hitting the pause button on your brain's autopilot.
Perfect way to put it. And once you understand, like, okay, this is why I react this way in these situations, then you can actually start to, well, maybe change those reactions.
So like instead of just feeling stuck in a pattern, you can actually choose to do something different.
Exactly. It's pretty empowering when you think about it.
But it also means like you can't really blame all your problems on everyone else anymore, can you?
Nope. Which can be a little uncomfortable at first.
Definitely. It's their fault. Right. But in the long run, taking responsibility for, your own stuff, it's got to be worth it.
100%.
Well, I have to say, this deep dive into Think Like a Psychologist has been pretty eye-opening.
It really does give you a whole new perspective, doesn't it?
It really does. Like, it's not just about, analyzing everyone else, but also, like, looking inward and using those same insights to improve your own life.
And your relationships. Don't forget, the better you understand yourself, the better you can connect with others.
So true. It's like this whole ripple effect of, well, positivity and growth.
I love that. And, at the end of the day, isn't that what it's all about?
I think so.
Cool.
So for everyone listening, here's a little challenge for you. As you go about your day, see if you can, I don't know, just notice one way you could use these ideas from Think Like a Psychologist. Even just one small thing.
Maybe it's being a little kinder to yourself or a little more understanding of someone else.
Exactly.